it's like Fox owned the rights to both of them, and they were able to kind of like.
And it fits. They
Fox
fit
was like,
together.
let's fuck some shit up.
Fox is owned by Disney now.
Well,
now.
now, but back then, so like they had been trying to get an Alien versus Predator thing off the ground, but there were all these lawsuits that were involved with it, and they had to clear those up before they could actually like get forward. So it took them literally like a decade in order to like get all the rights issues cleared up so they could make this thing happen.
And they gave it to Anderson.
Well, at the time, so like James
Your
Cameron,
arch nemesis.
James Cameron was actually collaborating with Ridley Scott and Sigourney Weaver to create another Alien movie. And Fox basically said like, well, that's all well and good, but we're going to go with Paul W.S. Anderson to do an Alien versus Predator movie. And James Cameron and Ridley Scott were like, fuck you. They're like, this is a terrible idea. We hate it. Peace.
And Kadish was like, I will never forgive you people for this.
I mean, this movie does have the Paul W.S. Anderson stank all over it.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's funny because
But ironically enough, this is his best movie. So
when I was watching this movie, I had no idea that this was a PWS Anderson movie. No idea. I'm watching it. I'm like 10 minutes in. I'm going, this feels like a PWS Anderson movie. and I looked
you're
up.
like, this movie feels kind of stanky.
Yeah, I did. I was like, something stinks. There's something about this.
Just watching it and you were like,
Got some stank on it.
Seriously, that's not even a
smell
joke.
that?
I'm
What
like,
is that?
what is going on with
That's
this
Paul
movie?
W.S. Anderson.
I'm like,
Yeah,
this
for viewers who might not be familiar, who is Paul W.S. Anderson?
he
Alex?
is the director of
That stank up Resident
the
Evil.
stanky director of Resident Evil, and of all the Resident Evil movies,
I'm really shocked Mila Jovovich
Except for
wasn't
the
in
new
this.
one.
except for the newest one.
Well,
Yeah.
no, like he didn't direct the sequel or the third one,
And
but
he's-
then he came back and directed all the other Resident Evil.
He's the guy behind some of the worst all-time video game movies. Resident
well,
Evil.
he directed the first Mortal Kombat movie, and then he,
Oh, that classic?
and
I kinda
he-
like it.
And he also did Event Horizon, and most recently Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. That's right.
Oh,
the
God,
dragon.
that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
With Mila Jovovich.
We did
All
talk
you
about
have
that
to do
one,
is
right?
mention that movie and I go into fucking Hulk mode.
Here's my big issue with this movie.
Oh, please.
And this is one of the reasons why like Paul W.S. Anderson is such a complete fucking hack. So in Predator lore, what's
Yeah.
the one thing that precipitates them coming to Earth for a hunt?
There can be only one.
No. They always come at the hottest point of the year. They come around the equator. When they went to LA, it was during a heat wave, right? So like they only hunt in
Hot, humid,
in hot,
gross areas,
humid,
yeah.
because they come from like, like they see in heat vision, like, so they come from a hot planet. This is in Antarctica.
But in prehistoric times, there
Listen.
was no ice.
The predators wouldn't be coming down into a freezing cold area because it just doesn't go with the lore.
Yeah.
But Paul W. Anderson's like, fuck that. This is what I want to do.
Yeah, I see.
And this story was actually made by Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, who were the original writers on like the Predator movies. And so like they came up with the story idea, and then Paul W.S. Anderson went off and wrote his own thing based off of that. And it's just like everything in this movie is horrible. Just from an entertainment perspective, like Jude said, it takes an hour to get to the meat of the story. And that initial fight scene between like the alien and the predator, while cool, like imagine this whole movie should have been that. Like imagine like if the predators came down to Earth and they're like, oh, we're going to go hunting. And then they see like all their prey already with like huge chest wounds. And then the aliens start showing up and no dialogue. It's just aliens versus predators fighting from the start to the finish.
Do you think a movie like that would go over?
Yes.
No dialogue at all?
Think it would. I kind of think it would if it was just aliens versus predators. Except here's...
Are we talking subtitles when they're like...
I don't know,
Alex,
maybe.
we literally reviewed this cartoon Primal with zero dialogue.
It was
And,
fantastic.
and you love it. So like, it can be done.
And we watched
Absolutely.
the caveman movie about chasing fire.
Okay, no, I'm never watching that movie again.
But,
No, but
you-
like if this had been a movie where like the aliens, not the predators, but the aliens had like decimated the earth and the predators were like, hey, let's go check out and see what's happening on earth. And they came down and they were like,
yeah.
oh, fuck.
or it
We
could,
gotta
even,
kill
even
all
could have been
these
like a
guys.
colony or something like that.
I would have loved an entire movie of just the predators and the aliens just fucking each other up for an
Matt's got
entire movie.
Matt has my brain going now because what I would have done now that I think about it is I take the Antarctica shit out of it. there's still pyramids in cities and shit
In South America.
underneath
Yeah.
the fucking jungle
Go
that
to
we
fucking
haven't
ancient
explored yet.
Egypt.
You know, go to Guatemala, go into deep jungle. Let's find a pyramid that's completely covered over with
Watch your hands there, bud.
I know.
Yeah,
with
these real hands.
with the jungle. You know, they could have easily
Well,
made this movie
also,
much better.
The first fight scene between Alien versus Predator, no dialogue,
No,
and that's the best scene in the entire freaking movie.
yeah.
Just
All
have
I-
the
all-
whole movie be that.
I just need those. I can't.
are we talking
the
subtitles?
clicks.
Are we going to do subtitles for the aliens?
Sure.
I mean, for the
yeah,
predators?
Yeah.
Why?
Like they're like,
Yeah,
Hey,
just
it's
give,
over
give
here
me
on
some
the left-hand
clicks and
side.
Yeah.
clicks and blurs and some
Yeah, I
hisses
mean, they
and-
did it in the original when they were like,
yeah, typing
No.
shit out. In there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another PW.
You don't-
That's why I thought this was a PWS Anderson movie. Is the goddamn holographic map swipe changes from one scene to another? He does it 5 times. I counted.
Straight out of Resident Evil. right?
Straight out of Resident Evil. I was like,
well, it's funny because the guy Colin Salmon, who played the team leader in Resident Evil,
he's in all of
this.
his.
He's in this.
Yeah,
movie.
he's in all of his movies.
And it's funny because like he gets caught by this net, and for a minute there you think, oh, he's gonna die by grid dissection just like he did in Resident Evil, but then like the guy just like stabs him with a spear, and it's just like, oh, okay.
So
But one of the things I hate about Paul W.S. Anderson is actually one of his greatest strengths, which is he knows how to like bring in a movie under budget, you know, ahead of schedule, and really squeeze every bit of profit out of it. Like with this movie, so they shot it in Prague.
he's a studio darling.
Yeah. So he shot it in Prague, and that the sets that they were able to build in Prague saved them something like, you know, $18 million. And he was able to turn this movie around in like 2 months' time, and then like 4 months of post production. So like he was able to get it out super quick. You know, on a $40 million budget, this thing made $177 million. The studio loved it, you know, greenlit a sequel like right away, but it's not a good movie. Like we were talking about how Alien spends their entire first act just setting up the rest of the movie. And it doesn't feel slow or boring or like whatever. This movie does the same thing, except it feels slow and boring and you just don't freaking care.
Yeah.
You just like get to the Aliens versus Predators crap. Who cares about this stupid backstory about like some like weird pyramid and like human sacrifices and stuff
And
like that?
honestly, Lance Hendrickson, I didn't care that he was in this at all. When I first saw him, I was like, oh shit, it's Bishop.
yeah,
And then Kadish was like, it's the guy Bishop is based on.
it's Wayland.
Oh.
Yeah, Wayland Corp is huge. That's a
Yeah.
big.
And then
like-
at that point on, I was just like, nah, I don't care. And then he just fucking dies out of nowhere. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then they recast him for Ridley Scott's prequels. So
I was way more interested in the pyramid than I was any of the characters in this show.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
I think
the shape changing pyramid.
Yeah, it was really cool.
it's
I thought it
cool.
was-
It's like
I thought it was
Cube
really cool.
and freaking weird shit's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. I
You
do
know-
agree that the setting is weird, like the Antarctic thing.
Yeah.
Like have that shit in the freaking Amazon or something.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know what's
totally
the
with you.
most fun for me is just me personally is like listening to Kadish talk about
How much he
Paul
hates.
W.S. Anderson, like he's talking about his ex. It's like, you know what else sucks about that person?
There's some real stank. On,
It's like,
on
what,
this.
did the guy like take a shit in your Cheerios one day or something?
I hate seeing lack of talent rewarded.
Mm.
And if there was ever a filmmaker who has taken properties with amazing potential and squandered them, it's
Well,
Paul W.S.
I mean,
Anderson.
honestly, that seems to be the trend for many years now in
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Especially video game movies.
It's like
and
you
stuff
fail
like that.
upward.
Yeah,
That's the way it goes, bro.
He was successful in making a profit.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing about
That
Paul
was his
W.S.
job.
Anderson movies is like his movies always make money. So like, you know, he's able to continue to make them, but they're so bad, and I don't know why they're
But
able
yet,
to make such
For some
such
reason,
profit.
all dumbasses like us keep
Yeah,
watching
dude.
them.
I watch it and I go,
I've watched every single Resident
I've-
Evil movie out there.
I've seen all the Alien versus Predator movies.
Yeah. I even
This
watched
one
that,
included.
I even watched that piece of shit Monster Hunter.
So you should hate us just as much because we're the
Well,
reason.
Wait.
he backed out of directing Resident Evil 3 in order to do this movie.
Mm.
So
Anyway,
V, you didn't like Monster Hunter, did you?
no, it was terrible. No.
Okay.
I've seen this movie multiple times. It's goofy and dumb, and I still watch it. and I like it. I have a good time. I don't know, Pete. It definitely has that stank. I will give you that because I didn't.
This is a stanky.
It's a stanky movie. I will not argue with that
Paul
point.
W.S. Anderson.
I'm giving it 2 stanks out of 5 because it's got the WS stank on
Two
it.
buttholes.
We need to have a stank fest.
Oh
someday.
God, you imagine like a PWS Anderson week?
God.
Stank fest.